Hi there, I'm Kylie Mowbray-Allen from Hello Media.
And I'm Jenni Walke from Elephant in the Room Consulting, and you're tuning into Bite-Sized Business Life Podcast, the show that helps business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business.
Whether you're launching, ready to scale, or figuring out what's next, we discuss the nitty-gritty, the hard bits, the opportunities, and the behind the scenes, and share how we've grown our own companies and helped others do the same.
We're glad you're here. This is Jenni Walke from Elephant in the Room Consulting, and I'm with my BFF, Kylie Mowbray-Allen from Hello Media, and you're tuning into Bite-Sized Business Life Podcast, the show that helps small business owners get clarity and insights to grow their dream business. Good morning, Kylie. How are you today?
Great, thanks, Jenni. It's a public holiday here today, celebrating the King's not birthday, but any excuse for a public holiday is a good one.
I know, we don't get us. I'm good. Ours is now like in October or something. They decided they had too many public holidays in the first half of the year in Queensland. So I'm pretty sure ours has been moved to October or some other time. So we get that holiday later. We get to celebrate twice this year and now and in October.
It's very funny how we all celebrate a not birthday at different times.
I remember when my mother was in the public service, they used to, I don't know if they still do this, the Commonwealth Public Service used to have an extra holiday at Christmas for when the Queen passed away. That was the reason that it was literally, it was gazetted for the kind of like, it was this extra public holiday, and it was because it was that they had a quarantine public holiday for the event that but this year they didn't do the public holiday on the Queen when the Queen passed away. So
wow, it's extraordinary.
It's a bit strange.
Goodness me. Well, I personally think there aren't enough public holidays. I'm like, bring more of those on.
I think so too. I think public holidays are a way to they should call public holidays an opportunity just to connect with family, recharge, all those things. I know for small business, having to pay stuff on public holidays is a challenge. I totally understand that. But I think when you have a break like you guys get today, you come back recharged and you get these 4 days of really great productivity because you had this 1 day of break.
Absolutely. I agree. So I'm pumped today though, and you did right when you talk about coming back recharged. And I think that's a really good segue into our topic today, because it's all about what you do with those customers and how you take them on that journey with you. So our topic is 3 tips to build your customer experience strategy. So an interesting one. I taught a workshop on this exact topic last week, and it was a very poorly attended workshop, I have to say. And every time I run this one, it's for another company that I run it for or present it for, but every time it's the lowest attended of all the workshops. And every time I say, I feel like this is the most important topic of them all. It's obviously just not very sexy or glamorous.
That surprises me, because I agree with you. It's one of the most important things to consider, no matter what your strategy looks like. And we're going to give you some tips today on what that might look like. But no matter what your strategy looks like, it's so important to think about what the experience of your customer is and how they interact with you, because it defines the success of your business in the long term. Maybe not the short term. You can get away with treating customers badly in the short term, but if you want a sustainable business in the long term, you need to make sure your customers are engaged through that process. So let's get down to the most important question. And maybe this is why people don't quite get, what is a customer journey or a customer experience?
Well, firstly, I just want to say that you may about, maybe you can treat them badly in the beginning. Did right. They're not going to come back, are they? No. We don't have a business if we don't have any customers or clients.
Exactly.
So that's why it's the most important thing that we need to nail in our business. So did you know, this is one of my favorite stats, that it's between 5 to 25 times more expensive to get a new customer than it is to keep one of your old customers or a current customer. So I just find that incredible that we don't focus on keeping those customers in our customer journey. But as you said, what's a customer journey? So for me, a customer journey is how they first find us or how they first watch us. So that's that awareness piece. So that's looking at us on social media. It's just when they're just first checking us out. And it's taking us through this entire, I like to think of it as a circle, all the way around through when they, converting, then they're, referring us, then they become our raving fan. And then when they're doing the referrals, that's when we're going full circle again, because that takes us back to the awareness piece with those new people that they've referred to us that never knew about us before. So if we can find ways to nail our awareness piece, take them on that journey with us so that they are so pleased with the outcome of working with us or buying from us, et cetera, that then they're going to be referring us. That's where we're winning. And that's how we keep them on that journey or stay on that journey with them.
So really, if we want it to be really simple, it's really saying it's the experience of a customer from the time they even think about finding you to the time they work with you to right to the end till they come back and repeat business. So it's that whole life cycle of our customer, really, isn't it?
Beautifully said. It's a life cycle. So I'm looking forward to you sharing about yours, because you said yours is the 3-part piece. Mine, unfortunately, is a lot longer, but it's that aware stage, then engaging with you, subscribe to what you're offering, converting. So that'll be something small, like a little bit of time that they've invested to watch your free webinar or buying a low ticket item just to test you out. Then that excite stage, that's that aha moment when you've really made them happy with the result that they've got from you. Then the ascend, which is when you're taking them down through that funnel, your sales funnel. And then that's when they go to the advocate stage and then the promoter stage where they're promoting you. So it's quite a long, in-depth process. And we need to go through it to check which part, if any, have we got that's broken link in that chain or in that life cycle. And if any part of that is broken, that's the bit that we need to work on. But what I really like is that if you've got anything broken along the way, there's no point working on that awareness stage, because getting that awareness happening is so important. But then if you're not taking them on a really seamless journey, what was the point of getting them in the first place?
So I'm going to one of the key things I loved about that you said there's the link in the chain, and we forget that, don't we, that each stage of your buyer's journey is kind of like catching a plane. You go to the airport, you park your car, or you get dropped off on the Uber, you walk in, you check in, you drop your bags. If you can, you go and sit in the Qantas Club and have a nice glass of wine. Then you get called and you get on your plane and you go through that process. And if any one of those stages fail, then you don't catch your flight. So I think it's so that link in the chain is so important to understand what each of those pieces is. So knowing that the customer journey and the experience journey is so critical to make sure it's seamless experience from the time they get there right through the time that they're starting to promote you and come back as a client. It amazes me why you have no people or small numbers turn up to that workshop, because it is so important to sustainable business, isn't it?
I couldn't agree more. And I love your airplane analogy. That's perfect. Or the trip analogy, because even if we've nailed that whole experience all the way along, we've had that wine at the Qantas Club, we haven't had to, be strip searched, like we've done all the things beautifully, and we've even got on the plane and had a spare seat beside us, or we've got a little free upgrade, or whatever it's happened, it'll be so joyous. But then we get there and then they've lost our bags. So it doesn't matter if all that other stuff was great along the way, they've really upset us, right? With that whole losing the bags at the other end. So yeah, no matter which part of it is along the way, we've got to nail every single one of those pieces.
So let's go through your 3 secrets to your framework. So what are the 3 things that you do, or the secrets behind the way that you develop your customer journey or customer experience frameworks?
Well, the Hello Media one is, I know that we all should only ever work on one funnel. So that's at that ascend stage where we're bringing them down the funnel. So my awareness piece is up the top of the funnel. That's, using socials, that's doing this live video podcast with you. It's my Positive Passionate Businesswoman podcast. There's all kinds of different things that we can do up the top. It's posting on LinkedIn, giving value. It's my once a month free workshop, which is always on a different topic to help people grow their business. because when they have invested that time to spend with me each month, that in return, they've given me their email address, and then it's my opportunity to sell to them. But all the stuff I do at the awareness point, I'm not selling anything. I'm just giving them value so that they can really see, yes, I really resonate with this chick and I think I might want to know more about it. Not even necessarily that they want to work with me, but they want to know more about me. And then once we've got all that happening at the top of the funnel, we're taking them down and they'll book a discovery call with me, or they'll join the Positive Passionate Businesswomen membership, or they'll attend one of those free workshops. Then we take them down the funnel, and that's when they'll join one of the programs, or, you know, work with us on our social media management side of things, or whatever it is. So for me, it's a very, very simple funnel. The key point is I've got to absolutely nail it at the top. I can't say that I'm someone at my awareness stage, and then when they're actually working with me, it's something completely different that they're getting. I need to be consistent. I need to be transparent, and I need to really, what I say I'm going to offer has got to be exactly what I offer, or even more than. We always want to excite people, don't we? Or surprise them with more value. What about for you, Jenni? What's your 3-piece strategy there?
Before we go into my kind of 3 secrets, I think one of the key things, the key takeaway that Kylie shared with you there is that it's not just one thing at each level. It's about providing options to think about what ways your customers are interacting with you. And you mentioned lots of different ways that people can interact with you, some on social media, some through email, some through your workshops or your free webinars or lead generation. So one of the key pieces there, I think that's so successful about your framework is that you're looking at lots of different ways for people to find you. So you're not relying just on one thing, like in the old days where it was yellow pages, or it was, you know, print media, or it was TV media, or whatever it was. There was somebody would throw all their money in one large bucket and hope that it paid off. Whereas what you demonstrated in that conversation is the need and the importance of having multiple different ways people can find you, because we're all different and we all like to interact in a different way. So I love that you shared that. Thank you so much. Mine is, rather than going through my kind of framework, I think there's 3 kind of key things that I think about when I'm thinking about my framework. The first one is really understanding what my customers want from me. So I think one of the key mistakes I've made over my career and in business is that I think I know what my customers want. And you do that when you first start any business. I'm a customer, I know what they want, but you don't actually stop to listen to what your customers actually need or what they really want from you. So I think one of the key pieces that's been successful in us is we understand what our customers and clients want from us as a business. So that means when we're developing those aspects at each of the levels, we're really tailoring it for them. So we were running lots of face-to-face workshops and activities, and we were finding while they were interesting, they weren't really, people were coming, we were getting small numbers, but they were coming for connection, not for the business. So they weren't coming to serve or to get what I could provide them as a provider. It was more of a community connection for them, which is important, but that doesn't really help me grow my business in that respect. So I was giving them what they needed, but perhaps not what was connected to my business. So I think that was really important to understand, am I providing the right pain point? And then I think, and you demonstrated this so beautifully in your funnel, is how do we actually design that and build that into a funnel and a framework so that we make sure that we're hitting those pain points, hitting those needs, hitting those wants. So at each stage, we're pulling them through the funnel, or they're wanting to go through the funnel because they can see we can solve their problem. It helps, you know, in my consulting space, which is where we've really been focusing a lot of at the moment in the work that we do there. We're able to bridge that gap between non-Indigenous and Indigenous worlds and have that conversation and open up, you know, change mindsets and the narrative around, you know, engaging with First Nations businesses or Indigenous businesses. And I think, so I know that's a challenge. So a lot of our conversation with clients is around that. Not about my coaching. That becomes something extra that we give them. And it's all those extra things that you talked about. So I think that's really important to deliver and design something that meets their needs. And then, of course, we're always changing. Unfortunately, we don't stick to the kind of funnel. The one kind of secret weapon / challenge is that I like shiny things. So we're constantly changing what we're doing. And we're thinking, how do we do this? And what should we do here? And we're constantly trying to play around with things. So what I took from your conversation is that it's that consistency, making sure that if you start a funnel and start your process, stick with it, iterate what you have. don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, be consistent and be focused. And I think that's one thing that makes your funnels so successful is that piece at the bottom. So I'm going to steal that from you today.
Good. I think that some of the people come to me for that discovery piece or whatever I would call, and they're saying, I'm not able to sell my big offering, whether that's a very expensive mattress topper or some extremely glorious yet very expensive original artwork, or maybe that's a course, whatever it is that they have put their heart and soul into, and they're just not selling it. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? How are people getting aware that you even exist? And then what are they able to then invest that's a tiny bit to get a taster of what it is that you offer before handing over 500 or $5,000 or 50 grand or whatever it is? Nobody's just going to hand over something unless they've really got to know, like, and trust you.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean, like, it literally might just mean all it will be is that half-hour discovery call that's free. Or maybe you can offer just a 1-hour paid strategy call, but that's a lower investment before they then sign up to go the whole hog with you. And I think that's what I see over and over with people that come to me, is that they have forgotten that piece of the know, like, and trust at that aware stage. Yeah. So people really, get to know you.
And I think that's what we've managed to do that well with, particularly, again, we're just talking about the consulting work that we do rather than our coaching piece, is that we're really able to tap into that piece around know, like, and trust. People are starting to get to understand what we do. In the consulting, in the corporate space, there's a lot of people talking to a lot of other people. And so we're getting a lot of trust built in a community sense. So people can see us, they talk to their colleagues, they talk to their peers, and that allows us to build community trust, which I think is a really undervalued aspect. It's not just about the trust in that one client, it's what the community and the people they're working with think and know, like, and trust about you also, because they share those experiences. May not be on social media, it might be through, a cup of tea or at a networking event or a conversation at a workshop, but it's how do we build that community of know, like, and trust. And it's so important in regardless of what you're doing, whether you're selling, new tires or jewelry or consulting or digital marketing, strategy like you do. I think that's that piece that we do often forget, don't we? It's not just I can tell you once and you like me. We have to build that experience for them, which is why I love the term customer experience or customer journey, because it's not just about buying the ticket and getting on the plane. It's all the little bits that fit within that have become really important in the process.
Absolutely. And you're nailing so much your final stage in that journey, which is that promoter piece, where people are doing the referrals to you because they've had such a great experience with you. So that's that closing loop bit. And then those new people are now aware of you, and it's what you do to take them on your journey. So that's so lucky, getting to that point, or even getting past that excite stage with that aha moment where they're like, oh, I totally get now why she charges what she does, why she has that product, why she's telling me it's the best thing since sliced bread, et cetera, et cetera. So
it makes a huge difference. But one of the things that you nail so well, and I see it in your socials, I see it in your emails, is that last piece that's really critical for a really successful customer journey. And that's that personalization, isn't it? Making it really, really targeted and intentional personalization with the way that you engage your different market segments. So tell us a little bit about how you do that.
In what way do you mean?
Well, I think that segmentation piece, that personalizing your messages and all those different aspects, like you talked about earlier about emails and events and all the different things, you know that your clients need different things from their journey. And so you're able to personalize that so well in the emails. You're targeting particular people who through an email, this is the type of information that we want. And you know that because you've gotten feedback and you've done your research and you understand what your clients need there, and you know what they want from their reels or their Insta or wherever, or shorts from YouTube, all those pieces. So how did you get to the point of having that kind of understanding of personalization of your market?
Because what I really had to look at is that pretty much I would say for all of us, our customers have all got the same problem. Well, for me, there's one of three problems. And so basically, I've just got to work out which problem it is that I'm addressing in the stuff that I'm putting out there. and showing you that I can solve. So for example, maybe it's that, oh, well, I'm not getting visible on social media because I don't want to. I don't want to have my face out there. I don't want to, show who is the person behind the brand, et cetera, et cetera. I want my shoe that I'm selling to, sell itself, for example. I'm like, great, I understand that. So now let's figure out a way that you can get really, really visible without it being your face. But I'll tell you what, a gazillion people will come to me and say the same thing, but in different ways. So I know that all I've got to do is put this strategy in place for that one, and they will nail it and feel thrilled with the outcome. And of course, they need to put in the work, but I know that that's just one of 3 issues that people come to me with. So I think that's the key piece, is knowing what are the most common problems that all those customers or clients have. Then putting out on socials, through my email marketing, through, all kinds of different ways that I'm getting visible, solving those problems for them, but only a tiny little bit, just giving them a little hint of what they might get if they then come and work with me. So that's the key, is even in my workshop that I do, it's 2 hours once a month, which is a big investment on my part, because as you can imagine, it takes more like 8 to 16 hours to write the whole presentation before I actually then present it, and it's free for anyone. But the key is I'm telling them the what and the why. I'm not telling them the how. They need to then come and pay and work with me to find out the how they're actually going to be able to implement that. So I think that's the key, is really understanding what it is your customers want.
And we've had this conversation so often, and I know I have this conversation even with my consulting clients and as well as my coaching clients, is what are their problems and what are the pains, what are they really wanting from you, and getting down and drilling down to that fundamental reason that they're with you, and getting past all the kind of the fancy words and the fancy kind of conversations they're having to really understand your customer, isn't it? And so it's really not about you, and it goes back to our conversation which we have so often. Your business isn't about you, it's about solving your customers' needs and solving your customers' problems. And if you don't know what those problems are, you could be the best widget in the world, but you're not going to find the customers because you don't understand what they're looking for.
That's totally right. And then that final piece is that personalizing the experience for them. So I can't do a discovery call or do a workshop or whatever it is that I'm doing at that visibility stage and just tell people what I think that they should be doing. It's got to be speaking to them exactly like you said, showing them how I would solve that problem, or showing them how they can solve it themselves if they can just tap into some of my knowledge or experience, etc. So, and whether that's my service offering or me selling a product, whatever it is, I've got to show them that for them, it's the right thing, not for everybody.
Yeah, I love that. And that personalization really then rounds out the individual's customer experience. Because I think this is one of the conversations I've been thinking about lately, because I've got some people I'm working with and we talk about the sales cycle, right? It used to be called the sales process or the sales cycle. And I think when we call it a sales cycle or a sales process, it becomes about us. How are we selling our product or service? How are we delivering this? It becomes our conversation of what our process is. And when you call it a customer journey experience or a customer experience, you're actually looking at exactly the same process, but you're looking at it from the perspective of the customer. And I think that it's just landed on me, just dawned on me just then, actually, to be honest, about that kind of 2 sides of the coin. And it's really important. It's not just about looking at the way you're going to sell and what your automations or your function are from your sales process. What does your customer want to get out of that process? Why are they working with you in the first place? And if you can nail your process and align it with your customer's experience, that's where you get that winning formula. It's the balance of both, and not one or the other is more important. They're equally important because it creates balance in the organization, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And last time we had our chat, it was all about storytelling. And that's exactly what this is all about as well, is that we've got to get that story right that we're sharing, whether it's a story about our own experience to how we got to be doing what we're doing. And, we solved obviously our own problems to then be able to move forward, or a storytelling of someone else's problem that we solved, like sharing a testimonial or sharing a customer experience, that kind of a thing. So, yeah, I think we forget that that storytelling piece is just so important to then anything that we do. But then we've got to really nail that customer experience or that customer journey, because without nailing that, we don't have them. We just got to constantly work on new ones. And as I said right at the beginning, that's a very, very expensive way to run your business.
It is. And it's also important to keep reviewing that, isn't it? You don't just set and forget and do it once. It's a constant iteration, constant review to make sure that you're still targeting the right people and the conversation is still the same and the problem is still the same. Because what I often found is we iterate, we change how we deliver and what we deliver, and we forget to make sure that our customers are still matching that, or vice versa. Our customers grow and maybe our content doesn't. So it's really making sure that we keep that alignment and that balance together throughout our business. So it's not just about the customer life cycle, it's a business life cycle too.
Totally. So one more stat I'm going to leave you with is that happy customers give your business longevity, and they have a lifetime value up to 10 times that of a one-time customer. So they're more likely to be repeat customers and become raving fans, which is what it's all about at the end of the day, is when other people are saying the good things about you, not you saying all the good things about you and trying to get people to believe that. So making sure that how you're dealing with those unhappy customers, and there's always going to be one or two or more, it's always going to happen, but how you then deal with them. So let's go back to that airline analogy, is that they lost the baggage at the end of the whole journey. But imagine if they just hand over a voucher, say, go and get yourself a fresh pair of knickers and a toothbrush and get yourself through the afternoon, and then we'll make sure that your bag is on the first courier to you, and then I feel that I've received the attention I need, received the acknowledgement that it's actually happened, rather than, crikey, I've got a client that it happened to, and it was 5 days before they actually got their suitcase. Wow. And nothing offered to them. They said, oh, you can just deal with your insurance. But it's like, that's not going to help us right now. And the interesting thing is that they had one of their air tags in their suitcase. So they knew exactly where their suitcase was, and their suitcase got delivered to their house a day before they got the call from the airline to say, oh, we've located it, we're about to deliver it. Very so poor
experience. There's lots of challenges.
Yes, indeed. So,
and that's and as we're talking about that memory and that experience is remembered more than the positive experience, and that's going to be shared more than the positive experiences you have, because the negative ones unfortunately do linger with us and do stay with us, and they become our point of reference. So
and you know, only 1 in 25 unhappy customers actually complain directly to you. So that's a real big problem. Instead, they go and tell everybody else.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they create a meme about it, and then it goes on socials, and then you kind of, after that, you're kind of, having to start from scratch again. So let's just recap. So thinking about the process, customer experience, that whole life cycle, making sure we're understanding at each stage how we're engaging, how they're engaging with us, and how to make sure that we can keep them connected through that journey, so we can, as they ascend through our funnel, our sales funnel, but thinking about what their customer experience is, not just what we're trying to sell. And then you talked about that importance of making sure we had that personalized approach and that consistency. And there was one more. What was that middle one that you shared that was beautiful?
I think it might have been around that excite stage or the aha moment, that if you haven't nailed that, then you can't take them any further on the journey. They have to be pleased and amazed by what you did or by how your product performed, or else you're never going to keep them on the journey.
And that's why I wanted to leave with that one, because that is so important. You need to excite and amaze people so they stay with you on that journey, and then they come back and then they become your raving fans. Awesome conversation, such great tips. And Carly, you have a heap of amazing resources in relation to sales funnels and customer experience journey. So how can people find those from you?
Come and join in our next free workshop. It's on a Monday, and I can't remember, but it's probably coming up in a couple of weeks. But you can find out more just by following on our socials, hellomedia.team, or our website is hellomedia.team. How can people get in touch with you, Jenni?
You can find us on Insta and Facebook, Elephant in the Room AU, or our website, elephantintheroomau.com. Come reach out, hang out with us. Send us your questions. We'd love to know what your problems, what your challenges are in your business. We're here to try and help you build a more successful, sustainable business. Mine from more business structure side and business foundations, yours from that amazing getting visible, helping people get found, and also so you can build that trust and that know, like, and trust factor, which is really going to create the best experience that you can for your customers and your clients. Thank you for everyone who's joined us today. I hope that's given you some food for thought. And I do have a challenge for you though. And like you normally do, Kylie, I'm going to throw out the challenges. Take an hour today, take 20 minutes today and actually map out your customer journey, even on a napkin. It doesn't have to be fancy, and think about all those steps your customers go through. And what are you doing at each of those stages to excite and engage them to make sure that they're moving through that experience and not jumping off or falling out of that space along the way, because that's going to make a successful business for you. And if you can do that well, then that's going to actually build and grow your business. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thank you, Kylie, for a fabulous bite-sized chat today. It was so much fun. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on our YouTube and also on our Facebook when we pop up so you don't miss any future episodes. We look forward to seeing you again. Thanks so very much. Have an awesome day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.